Hello, and welcome to my Capstone presentation. For my project, I decided to talk about cybersecurity, specifically fundamentals, actions, policies, and recovery. First off, a little introduction. Technology is all around us. Everywhere we go, we see technology. For example, in the medical field, patient information is now stored in their systems online, as opposed to on paper in a file behind a desk. As a result, businesses must take actions to protect their systems so that sensitive information cannot be obtained by bad actors. This is where cybersecurity comes in. What is cybersecurity? By definition, cybersecurity is the art of protecting networks, devices, and data from unauthorized access or criminal use and the practice of ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and availability of information. Cybersecurity isn't foolproof, but it is certainly necessary because even with the best practices in place, there's no guarantee that attacks won't happen. But with proper precautions in place, the risks are reduced significantly. For my paper and for this project, I hypothetically said that I was the head of a cybersecurity department and I was going to outline the procedures, policies, and actions we need to take to properly protect our company. Cybersecurity is a facet of business that requires attention from all members of the company. As a result, our department is going to manage using a top down management approach. This is where decision making processes occur at the highest level and is then communicated to the rest of the team. We will need to outline plans, policies, and procedures that need to be followed by every employee. Moving on to protecting our business systems. First off, there's employee training. Employee training will be critical in protecting our systems. We can discuss spotting phishing emails, good internet browsing practices, avoiding suspicious downloads, enabling authentication tools, and protecting sensitive vendor and customer information. It's important to realize that not every employee is going to be an expert, so we need to focus on covering the basics. Next, we want to make sure we protect our computers, systems, and networks. We can do this by keeping devices up to date and running updated antivirus software. This software isn't perfect as it can struggle against new or advanced threats, but it is still critical in protecting our systems. Next, we will want to protect our Wi-Fi networks, and we can do this in many different ways. We can use a firewall. We can keep our network secure and hidden. Our router must be able to run WPA3 encryption, and if it cannot, we need to update that router or get a new one. Next, we need to routinely change both the Wi-Fi and the router administrator passwords. We should do this every 90 days or so, or anytime we think there was a potential breach. And when we change these passwords, we need to make sure they are strong passwords and consist of 16 letters and make sure they're secure. Next, we want to make sure employees utilize a VPN when they're working off-site and accessing our networks. This will just protect the information that they're accessing when they are working from home. And lastly, we should conduct a penetration test on our system. This is done by an outside contractor who can try to ethically hack our company and locate any vulnerabilities, and then we can address them. Moving on to some policies that are in place. First off, we want to have a policy of asking questions to the security team if you are unsure. This is a very important rule to follow when dealing with cybersecurity if we want to create a safe working environment. Secondly, employees must help to keep their work devices up to date. This is more applicable to employees who use their personal devices for work. With devices that we give out, we can push out most of the updates manually, so then they don't have to do it. But for those personal devices, if they can help out and make sure things are updated, that would be great. And of course, they can always come to us and we can assist in updating them as well. And third is to not disclose information to outside individuals or any individual you think shouldn't need the information they're asking for. The steps we put in place to protect our systems will not work if someone knows how to work around them. So it's very important to not disclose that information. If there's ever a moment where an employee thinks that they shouldn't say something, they can always direct that individual to our department, and then we can handle that. Moving on to the recovery step. This is where we've been attacked, and we're going to take actions to recover anything that went wrong, or just fix the vulnerability, stuff like that. So these steps are not really in any particular order. They're just steps that we're going to need to take as a company. So the first one I have is that we need to locate how the bad actor got into our system. And then once we find that out, we will want to secure that vulnerability. In this process, we will want to take a deeper look into the rest of our systems and do our best to efficiently resolve any other vulnerabilities we find as well. If we decide to focus only on the vulnerability that I exploited this time, it would leave us susceptible to further attacks and exploitation in the future. We'd also want to communicate with all members of the company and inform them of what is going on. This also includes reporting the breach to the proper places such as law enforcement. Communication is key, especially if we think accounts have been hacked and we need to change passwords, stuff like that, so that everybody can get on top of that and secure their accounts before further information gets lost. Another step we need to take is to isolate the vulnerability. So, for example, if an employee clicked a malicious link, we would want to remove the device from our network as quickly as possible to help limit any spread of malicious content. Following this type of event, we would want to communicate with employees and remind them of procedures to follow and offer advice on how to avoid having their devices compromised. After we have secured our network and ensured our systems are safe, we will need to take a step back and further evaluate our policies and procedures and adjust where necessary. This step is critical to the future success of our company. If we don't take a step back and evaluate everything that we're working on at our company, we could be susceptible to further attacks and we could be ignoring weak spots of our security. But by taking a step back and fully evaluating all our policies and procedures and adjusting where necessary, we'll be better prepared for the future and it'll protect us against future attacks. Finally, I have a couple references I used in this presentation as well as my paper. I hope you enjoyed listening. Have a great day.